Good morning, students. How are you? So, today we are going to study about one famous personality. Can you see picture in these slides? So, this is a picture of Louisa May Alcott, who was an American novelist. Okay, she used to write novels, short stories. She was a short story writer and poetess, best known as the author of the novel Little Women and its sequels Little Men and Joe's Boys. So she was very famous in that, and she was born on 29th November 1832. So it's all written in your book in the chapter, and I must tell you that this chapter is in reading, so listen it carefully because question will come from it, like the your passage, that passage will come of 5 marks. So I hope you will listen carefully because question will come from here. So we have talked about this famous poetess, authoress. So we will now come to the lesson, that is lesson number 3 she has written, and the chapter name is Making Friends. We all are used to make friends. So here I'm not going to read this chapter. I'm just going to tell you the summary of it, plot summary of it, so that it will be interesting, and then you read this chapter. I'll send you the PDF of it. So here is it, that there was the plot summary. I'm going to speak. You have to listen me very carefully, and then you will come to know about the story, that what is in this chapter. So Meg, I'm going to take the names of the characters. That was there were sisters. There were 4 sisters that were Meg, Jo, Beth, and Amy, who are the March sisters, and their father is off to war, and they rely on their mother, means they were living with their mother, Mommy, to see them through the hard times of the Civil War. In the first part of this book, the reader is introduced to the characters. That is, I told you right now, 5 characters, that a mother and her 4 daughters. So now we will read one by one about every character. That is Meg. Now Meg is the sensible one, Joe is the tomboy, and Beth is the sweet one, and the last one is Amy, is the artistic and feminine one. Now the girls are all generous and even give their own Christmas dinner to a poor family. Now Meg has her first dance and brings Joe along. At the dance, they met Laurie, the mysterious grandson of the old Mr. Lawrence living next door. His real name is Theodore, but he prefers Laurie because he was teased in school by the girls. The girls all spent a lot of time at the Lawrence's home, all excepting Beth. She was not interested because she is afraid of old Mr. Lawrence. She stays away. Mr. Lawrence asks if he could have Beth over to play for him. But when she does, it creates a lasting bond between them. Old Mr. Lawrence loves her playing so much that he gives her a small piano that had belonged to his deceased granddaughter. The girls have a secret club also called the Pickwick Club. That the name of the club was Pickwick Club, in which each of the girls undertakes a separate identity. Now Amy is punished at school for having pickled limes in the classroom. And Marmee, who was Marmee? Marmee was their mother. and she decides to school her at home. One night, Laurie invites the older girls to come see a play at his house, and Amy wants to come along. But at that time, Joe puts her off and leaves with an attitude. But when Joe returns, her precious diary has been burnt spitefully by Amy. So it was burned by Amy, remember it. Then Joe holds a grudge. Grudge means Isha. Okay, like a person to whom I don't like the person, so I am having grudges for him or her. But it is all resolved when Amy is almost lost in an accident on the ice. And it was hard for Joe to handle that her sister had a boyfriend. When she and Laurie exchange secrets, it was revealed that Mr. Brock, Laurie's tutor means who gives tuition, and friend, has been given one of Meg's gloves. One thing the movie leaves out is a camping trip that the girls take with Laurie, where they talked about their dream castles, and told Laurie to go to college and respect his grandfather's wishes. One day, a letter arrived telling the girls that their father had taken ill, and Marmee desperately wanted to be at his side, but didn't have the means to do so financially. Then Jo knew that her father needed Marmee, so she sold her hair to get the $25 needed for her mother to take the trip. While she is gone, Beth visited a poor family and took care of the sick baby. As she was there holding it, the baby died of because of fever, and Beth caught it. Meg and Joe cared for her and sent Amy to stay with Aunt March. Now, one more character is Aunt March. Amy noticed it there, but talked a lot to the maid, who told her of all the things Aunt March will leave her when she passes on. Amy decided to write her own will at that time, in which she left something to each of her sisters. Marmee was called for because the doctor feared that Beth would die. When Marmee came, Beth seems to improve. When their father came home, Beth is able to play the piano and sang with the family. And Mr. Brock asked Meg to receive his love, and she refused. When Aunt March was consulted on this matter, Meg was told that if she were to marry Mr. Brock, she would be cut off and stricken from the will. Meg decided to love Mr. Brock to spite her aunt. But Laurie told Joe that she would be the next to marry, and Joe said that she never will will not marry him. Meg found married life a difficult juggling act as she brought twins into the world and had arguments with her understanding spouse. And one more character is Aunt Carol decided to take Amy to Europe with her to study art. As you know that she was artistic she was a good artist, we can say. And Jo was upset because she had longed so desperately to let out of the house, but was contented means satisfied by the happiness of her sickly sister Beth at her strain. And then Amy wrote the family of her meeting a friend of Laurie's in Europe, and hoping that he will propose so that she doesn't make a poor match like Meg did. Joe decided to go New York. Now Joe decided to go New York, okay, to get Laurie to forget about her. But as she said her goodbyes, he made it amply clear that it won't be so easy for him to be without her. This shows his love towards her. While Joe was staying with Mrs. Kirky, she met a German professor there, that is Friedrich Baer. She and Professor Baer form a friendship as he teaches her German. So he was a German teacher. He was teaching German to her, language that was German. But when Joe returned for the summer, she and Beth went to the beach, and Beth revealed the feeling that she was having, that she will soon die. Beth put in a nice room so she could spend her last days with the things and the people she loved, because she was about to die. One day, while on a walk with Joe, Laurie divulges that to her his true feelings of love and asked her to marry her. Joe refused, saying that she will never love him that way and that she will never marry him. She totally denied him to marry him. So Beth died in her mother's arms. Oops. Joe was devastated by the death of her favorite sister. So who died? Beth. Beth died here. One day, come uh, Professor Bahe came by the house and told Joe that he will be in town on business for a few days. In hopes of seeing him, Joe went for long walks, and on one such walk in the rain, she met him under an umbrella, where she consented to marry him. When when Aunt Marge died, her estate is left to Joe, who made it into a home for wayward boys. So I told you the full story, which is a short novel written by Alcott. So I hope you liked it. Listen it again, as I have described you the full story, the full even plot summary of this chapter. So I hope you have understood. What you have to do is you have to read all these 4 scenes again and again and learn the vocabulary. That's it. So here I have attached the slides of the characters, the main characters of this short story. So Meg, Joe, Beth, you all know about it. I have just told you right now. So you just quickly read it, and I'm going to tell you the conflict of this story. That the main conflict of the story is simply growing up. Inside each of the girls are a desire to grow up, of course they grown up, and a desire to keep things the same. They know that when they grow up, things will be changed, and that scared them. And that struggle is within each of them, those sisters. So I hope you have liked this story, and just quickly read it twice and thrice, because the scene passage will come from this story. Thank you.